welcome back to the Plays with Cars YouTube channel and our brand new cheap 4x4 project, Project Roverlander. Anyways, this is our P38 generation Land Rover Range Rover, and it is our new cheap four-wheel drive project. See, longtime viewers here on the Plays with Cars YouTube channel know that cheap 4x4s have been here in the past. We actually did a big body OJ Bronco build way back in the beginning. It's featured in one of our most popular videos. And it was pretty good success. You have quite a large percentage of viewers that are here for some 4x4 content. There hasn't been any in a whole lot because I'm mostly a sports car guy. So you get a lot of sports car stuff. That being said, it's time to do a new project. This thing has actually been sitting around for quite a while. Astute viewers will recognize that it has been sitting there beside the house forlorn for many months, even predating Boost Wagon number 2, and I just haven't quite gotten around to it. And mainly that was because I didn't know what to do with it. You see, the Bronco, when I got it, it didn't really run and drive all that great. It had a lot of cosmetic issues, and it was really easy to just kind of like, in general, fix it up, have a little fun with it, and move it on to the next owner over the course of a year. And it was a lot of fun to do all that. This you kind of can't really do that with. Truth be told, it actually runs and drives pretty decent. It does have this kind of weird acceleration issue, which we will have to dive into, but it starts, it runs, it drives, all the four-wheel drive stuff works. I've actually taken it extensively off-roading, as you can see by the mud and stuff kind of covering every surface, despite the fact that it's been pressure washed about 1,000 times. And everything kind of really works great. And cosmetically, I mean, yeah, I could use, some elbow grease and polish, but it really isn't all that bad. So I wanted to put out some kind of interesting content and also have fun with it. I wasn't real interested in putting a bunch of elbow grease into this thing to kind of make it pretty and perfect when you're not going to really get anything out of that. I really have a lot more fun driving it. And I finally figured out what it was I was going after, and that is a cheap overlanding project. See, right now, overlanding is all the rage. You see just about every crossover and cute ute built these days is covered in cladding and comes with baskets and lights and all sorts of crap. And obviously trucks like this are going for crazy money on the secondhand market because people can't really do much, right? We are still in the thralls of COVID. There's nothing going on, but you can pack your family into a real SUV and you can go way the heck out in the middle of nowhere and you can go camping and you can just drive over the land. So we're going to do a really cheap overlanding build. But yeah, that's what we're going to do with the Range Rover. So we're going to address the biggest of these cosmetic niggles. We don't want to have mold growing in or on the car. But other than that, we're going to pretty much leave it alone as far as cosmetics is concerned. We're looking for function. We'll put a basket on the top. A little bit of that is for looks, but it's for some function on there. See what we can do about making sure these lights work and all that good stuff. And kind of have this super fun project of something that, hey, we can take overlanding and have some fun with. And if it does get dented or scratched, we don't really care because it's already dented and scratched. But, still look nice enough to not bring down the neighbor's property values too much. And just kind of have some fun with it. Because right now, really good SUVs are going for stupid money. Land Cruisers are insane. 4Runners are insane. Broncos are insane. You can't really buy any decent four-wheel drive for any kind of reasonable amount of money right now. Obviously, like I said, due to COVID, everybody and their dog, they want to go out. So boats are really expensive and 4x4s are really expensive. So you could pick up these P38 Range Rovers for really cheap, especially considering what they can do, what they're capable of. So we're going to kind of take this deep dive and show you what it takes to really get one of these to run reliably enough and get it outfitted to go do all those things that everybody else is doing in rigs that cost $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. And we're going to try and get it done for less than $500. We're going to get started with under the hood. You see, one of the main issues of this particular Rover is it has a really nasty battery draw on it, and even with everything as disconnected as you can get it, it doesn't really want to keep a charge. And I'll show you kind of some of my feelings on that. Also, this thing's broken. That makes it really painful to open the hood. There's all sorts of fun things that are involved with even just here we go, working on this thing. See if I can do this one-handed. I can. All right. Like I said, it's been off-road extensively in my ownership. You can see the amounts of mud and dirt I've caused up in here. But anyways, even with the battery disconnected, I've still managed to kill this one, so I need to put the trickle charger on it and all that. But you can see the battery cables here we need to address. These ends are bare and a little bit rusty. This one has been changed, just the end, but not necessarily the cord, and kind of have some loose random wires and stuff going there. So we need to kind of address this generality stuff. And then the motor itself is going to be where we're going to get our start. Like I said, it starts up and idles great. Once you get it going up to speed, it'll do 70 miles an hour all day long. It's getting it from that idle to 70. If you give it full throttle, it backfires in kind of funky ways, and we have to really kind of figure out what it is that's going on, because it's not a misfire. It runs absolutely smooth as butter at idle. So got some things to look for in that, but first things first, I'm going to get going on the battery here and get that all figured out, and once we can reliably start it up and work on it, we'll take a look at the general condition of everything under the hood and start diagnosing what our running issue is. And once we get it running properly, I know that the driving already works as far as the transmission and transfer case and four-wheel drive systems and all that. Everything there works great. We do have to address the electricals a little bit. These really awesome period correct Hella lights do not appear to work correctly, or indeed at all at the moment, so we need to figure out what is going on with the wiring on them, as well as a few of the things inside as far as making sure windows go up and down right. The passenger window kind of shimmies on the track, which can make it difficult. Going off-road, sometimes you need to look outside and make sure you're clearing on a trailer stuff, and obviously when it's nice out, you kind of want to have the windows down and enjoy the fresh air, so we'll address that one. And that's about it as far as mechanical and electrical goes. Then we're going to get into adding things on and fixing things up. Like I said, I want to do a basket to it. We'll look at doing some stuff here with the back as far as maybe a little bit beefier of a tow hook situation. It does have a factory hitch. In fact, there's some wiring we need to address there a little bit. But we'll do some stuff with that. We can always put in some cool accessories into the back of the hitch there to be able to tow a little boat or something like that. And obviously it already has a roof rack on it with crossbars. We can get some accessories for that kind of stuff. Here on the nose, this is the factory grill guard piece, but we're missing kind of the big headlight bars. I'd like to maybe try and find a set of those on eBay or something like that. And then as you can see, this particular fender has already taken quite a smush, and well, this light is held in with tape, so we need to kind of address that a little bit. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to put the spare fender that Jeff gave me on, because it is a different color and I don't want to deal with paintwork, and frankly this has already been kind of pounded back out enough to be functional. I might take some hammers and blocks and kind of get this fitting better, and just fix up the light to make sure all of that bolts in correctly, because like I said, I'm not so concerned with the little dents and scratches, because I fully intend on adding a whole bunch more to this thing as we overland it. Our goal is going to be to get this thing out on the trail running and driving and reliable and useful for less than $500, and we're going to share all the trials and tribulations along the way, so that no matter what truck you start with, by the end of your build, you'll be able to go and enjoy all that the great outdoors has to offer. So if that's the kind of thing that sounds fun and interesting to you, hit that like and subscribe button so that you don't miss any episodes of Project Range Rover, and you can go on our overlanding adventure with us, or Roverlanding. Depends on how cheeky you want to get. Just noticed that right there is broken for the windshield washers. We'll have to address that as one of the things to fix. Wow, that's really a gigantic pain in the ass to put those on and off. Anyway, for your very first tip and trick for P38 Range Rover specific stuff, which the previous owner had to show me because I never would have figured it out, when you open the hood and you go to close it, you can yank on this all you want. It is never going to close. The way these things are designed is you have to push up first, and then it just comes down all by itself. So, yes, they give you a giant bright orange sticker on the new one there, but just something to be aware of if you've never had a P38 before, like me, that is one of the things. Okay, this is a really cool extra piece. First of all, they give you the service campaigns here for all the recalls. They are etched in with metal. These are metal tags that have been etched, which is a really cool way of knowing, like, continuously that all of these stuff has been done. But this is cool. There's a body color identification on here with the name and then the part numbers for the aerosol and touch-up, which is really, really rad. I've never seen anything like that before. One of the things that we might have to address are the tire situation. Now, the wheels here are awesome. I told that these were, I can't remember if they were Inkies or ROHs, so I'm going to have to look that up. But anyways, these wheels are like the wheels you want with a P38 Range Rover, and they are admittedly really, really awesome. The tires are great tires, actually. They are Falcon ZX ST Z04s, which are a great all-terrain tire, probably just fine for overlanding. These particular tires also have a lot of tread left on them and nice siping and all of that stuff. They just kind of don't fit the look very well. Modern overlanding builds tend to have like really beefy looking mid-terrain looking type of tires on them, and I don't know if these will necessarily give off the right vibe, but I hate to put something that's less useful on a vehicle just for looks when these are probably going to actually work way better than any of those poser tires. So more than likely we will end up keeping these Falcons on, especially since we've got a full set of 4 already on here mounted that work really well. So, well, I can't open the hatch right now to show you because the battery is so dead, but these are really cool because they have a tailgate style. So the glass here is a hatch. It opens upward like normal, but the metal part stays. That part is a tailgate like a pickup truck and folds down, and then you can sit on it and tailgate and do all sorts of cool stuff. It's a really awesome design. Old school SUVs all used to be like that. I wish new ones were. It's way more useful than a gigantic metal hatchback that opens up and there's nowhere to sit and no way to get your stuff in and out. It's really annoying. This setup is way, way better. While we're back here, you could see some of the other cool stuff we have, including a bike rack for the hitch and also a car scanning thing for this, so we need to bring that inside because I need to use that. You can see there's some ABS sensors that have been replaced. There's 3 lights on these called the 3 Amigos that are 3 different brake and traction control lights that all come on, and they're really difficult to get rid of, and Jeff has done an exemplary job making sure all 3 of those lights stay off and the ABS and traction control all work how they're supposed to, so that's really cool. You can see here we do have a spare fender. It is not all that much better of a shape though, to be honest. You can see it's got a gnarly ding right here on the crease, and here in the back there's a bunch of scratching where somebody took the corner light out incorrectly. Also, I believe this is the wrong color, and even if it was the right color, it's the wrong color because somebody painted it and they painted over the trim and everything, and so it's off of whatever color it was supposed to be anyway. I don't foresee us using this. We'll probably end up hanging this up in the shed's rafters with all the other random fenders that I have. Oh hey, check that out. I don't even have to go to eBay. These are already right here. Sweet. So these are the original rest of the front grill guard setup. These wrap around the headlights. They're really, really cool. I'm not sure why they're back here and not on the rig, unless they're just kind of bulking in the way this thing lived its life in Portland, in the city. And I could see these being an issue with the way they stick out so much. But we will definitely get these things back on because those are just way cool. So sitting back here, it's not bad. You can see there are some issues here in the interior itself as far as cosmetics and little things, but as far as functionality, there's nothing really that bad. The sagginess is mostly in the sunroof and in the back. We'll still kind of do what we can with that. The crack in the windshield is along the very bottom where you don't even notice it. Yeah, overall, it's not a bad place to be. It just needs some elbow grease, and we can get it up to snuff. And with that, we have begun the process. Got the trickle charger on here, starting to put a little bit of amperage back in the battery. It's going to take it forever. We are working with 2 amps at the moment, but again, that battery is stone flat. So we're going to put 2 amps in it until it takes all the 2 amp, and then we'll cook it up from there. But anyways, we've got the battery charging on it, and just kind of a general idea of what has to happen next. So I was taking a poke around here in the engine bay, and you can see that the plugs look fairly brand new in this, as well as the wires. So no real point to doing plugs and wires on it. Like I said, it doesn't feel like a misfire in the way that it runs. It idles perfectly and purrs around at partial throttle, no problem. It just kind of backfires and bucks when you give it any kind of full throttle. And you can see there's been some other things done under here as the previous owner tried to diagnose what was going on. He seemed to believe that the camshaft had a flat lobe on it. I'm not ruling that out, but I also think that's unlikely. I've had cars with flat camshaft lobes before, and they tended to idle kind of rough and have vacuum issues. And this one seems to have neither, so I want to take a look into some things first. A couple of things that could be are random vacuum leaks, either external, like something here on a pipe or a hose coming off, or internal. There's all sorts of emissions control devices that when they aren't functioning correctly, it's allowing exhaust gases in the wrong spot or intake vacuum in the wrong spot, and can kind of cause things to be an issue because they might be open at idle and closed at full throttle, and or vice versa, and don't seem to be working correctly. So we'll see what we can do with that. We're definitely going to have to dive into this thing though a little bit to figure out what's going on with it, because like I said, although it'll do 70 all day long, it takes you so long to get there that it almost borders on dangerous. So we really need to make sure that that is fixed. Taking a look here in the air box. So this is interesting. I got the air box opened up here, and not a terrible filter, not a new filter, but not a terrible filter. But what you can't get from the gist of this video, but I can, is definitely the smell of gas, like strong. And this thing has not run since, probably around Thanksgiving time. It has literally been sitting here doing absolute jack nothing. In fact, when I pulled it forward to build the basketball hoop for my kids for Christmas, it wouldn't run or start, and I ended up pushing it to this particular spot. So I know for a fact no gas has been through this thing in a long time. So to open this up and get a really strong smell of gas definitely points to some things. So that's part of our diagnosis process here, is to figure out where that gas smell is coming from and what's going on. Years ago, I had a Jaguar XJS that had an L98 swapped in it from a Camaro, and those old GMs used batch fire. So instead of firing one injector at a time, sequential fuel injection, they would batch fire. All of the fuel injectors would fire, and one bad one, the driver on it, would kind of just kill everything on the motor, make it run really rough and kind of puke and pull and all sorts of gnarliness. And it also had a really strong smell of gas in the air system, because just the way that batch firing worked. But I don't know if this one is batch fire or sequential. I'll have to take a look at that and see what it is in order to figure that out. Anyways, that's the introduction to our Project Range Rover.